detective. Thrill me.
Thanks for joining us again. During a coast trip, Jared, we've decided to dive back into some canon. A canon film, Avenging Force, which there's some interesting trivia about this too, because it relates to another canon picture we didn't do that long ago, which is good. So we'll cover that as we get through to it. Now, look, we've watched very little since we last recorded. We did sit down last night and watch the second season of The Family Stallone, Jared, and I believe you've got some thoughts on the Family Stallone season 2, and I'd like to know what they are.
Well, they're not very positive.
No, I didn't think it would be.
Yeah, I think it's embarrassing. Like, Sylvester should not be anywhere near this.
It's... I mean, you described it as nepotism at its finest, and ultimately this show is for his daughters.
Yeah.
So it would seem.
I can understand how you get caught up, Sly. You love your family.
Yeah.
But you're embarrassing yourself.
You are embarrassing yourself.
And Frank's embarrassing you too.
Frank's embarrassing himself and you. Like the girls, I mean, I'm sure they're lovely girls.
Yeah.
But there seems to be no reason for them having, like, this is not really the right word, but sort of stardom, I guess. You know, because they've now got a platform, they're on a TV show, what have you. There doesn't seem to be really any, they don't have anything to offer. But then again, what do the people on the fucking Jersey Shore have?
No, that's right. There's a number of shows that are like that, but I don't know why. I don't know why you would go for it. Obviously, there's some money involved, and
certainly Sylvester, who's had a very long and well-regarded career.
Yeah.
So what is his need for it?
I don't know. Does he have to rehab his image after he's been making fun of extras and things like that, or because this isn't working? If this is the way
it's not helping. It's not helping, Sylvester. It's not.
The scenes of the family around the kitchen bench, palling around and throwing shit at each other.
They feel
it's just
forced.
It doesn't look.
I mean, the only laugh I got the whole night was when Sylvester's wife rings his daughter and says, "Oh, look, Frank's going to be in town in New York, and we think it'd be best if he stayed with you." And her fucking immediate comment is no.
Yeah, I think she was
having absolutely none of it.
Rush that one.
But yeah, it feels all staged. I think that's the worst part about it. It feels staged. It doesn't feel genuine.
Like I don't have any interest in watching his daughter's date.
Yeah.
Like, that type of show is just not for me.
It's also, it just showcases
I'm not the market, Adam. So
people are inherently boring, Jared. Like, we're boring.
Somewhat,
like, if someone put a camera in here for fucking 6 hours, you wouldn't get a lot of quality fucking content, I would say.
I don't think so.
So we're inherently boring. We don't do a lot. So trying to put that on TV and make it interesting is very hard. And this is just proving
it's so fucking manufactured a lot of the time.
They're always looking for an angle.
And this,
Frank's going to be in town. Let's make that happen.
It just looks manufactured, but it's just even blander than some of those other shows. It's really, like, I don't know why, we watched 10 episodes and parts of it were agony, Adam.
I wouldn't have said it was agony, look, it helps to have a few drinks. Like, it does. If we hadn't had a few drinks, I don't think we would have watched it.
Well, we wouldn't have made it.
We would have watched the first episode or something and just gone, no, that's it. So, yeah, it's a hard
I don't know. When Frank drops his guts at the dinner table in the first episode, that probably bought me 1 or 2 episodes.
You're like, there's some goodwill right there.
Yeah.
But, not. I wouldn't put it on my watch list if I was people out there.
Nope.
Now, let's just quickly cover off on The Crow, because we talked about up or down on The Crow remake, and I believe we were heavily down. All of us were heavily down on that.
Yep.
And it has recently been released. Things have not gone well for The Crow.
Not at all.
It cost $50 million, as we found out. I believe it did $4 million opening weekend, which is not good.
No.
Right? Rotten Tomatoes, 20%.
It's currently at 10 worldwide.
Oh.
So
it'll be out of cinemas domestically in like a week. Like there are movies that have been out for like 10 weeks that are putting in more money daily than it is. So that's not a good look.
Yeah, bit of a disaster.
Well, it doesn't make sense to make it.
Yeah, see, like, I don't know. Like, I understand there was a bit of pushback because of what the original has attached to it.
Yeah.
And I get that. I understand that you want it to be the kind of legacy for Brandon Lee and that. But I'm not opposed to redoing it because it's another comic book property. I mean, it's the 5th movie. It's
not like I haven't been down this road before.
I've been down this road before, and I think you can do it without necessarily being disrespectful to what the first one is and the legacy and whatever. But when we saw it, I had views of how disrespectful.
Yeah, exactly. When the trailer came out, I was like, "Fucking hell, what have they done here?"
Yeah.
And again, it could come down to aesthetics.
Yeah.
I think you'll find the script probably wasn't great from the start. And then you get a director who's got a certain style that maybe didn't work, and what he wanted didn't necessarily gel with what fans would have wanted. But you are putting $50 million on the table for this movie. You needed to be a little more shrewd, I think, because I think $50 million is probably a little bit too much. This is how you don't make money.
Is it though?
Well, could you do it for 30? You probably could do it for 30.
Possibly.
I reckon. Like 30's not like low budget. It's a reasonable amount of money.
Yeah, I know, but like 50 is not exactly high budget either.
No, it's not, but 50...
When we're talking,
But when you're trying to make money back on a property that you're probably concerned isn't going to hit big opening weekend, so to speak, but you want to maximise your money.
But they're not making it with that feeling, this isn't going to do well over the weekend.
I know.
They're making it with, IP.
I'm thinking you could have made it for less.
But they're making it with, this is IP, $50 million. We might have a hit here.
Yeah. And maybe they dropped the marketing monies.
When I heard Bill Skarsgård's involved, I was like, oh, okay. This sounds all right. Promising. That was a long time ago.
I was never that interested in it.
I was never super pumped, but when I heard, the names of who was going to be in it, I was like, all right, well,
maybe it could
be
all right.
Have a look at this. The preview turned me completely off. So maybe they should have just done a poster and said no preview.
They also didn't screen it for critics, and that's always a fucking death wish. Yeah. But that's when you know something's probably not great. Something stinks a little. I'm assuming they cut their marketing money too. Like they must have thought to themselves, "Fuck, we're going to have trouble here. We probably just have to drop some of our marketing dollars," which may have also hurt.
Do you reckon
it's opening weekend?
Do you reckon somebody watched it and said, "Can somebody call David Zaslav?
Can we make some sort of deal on this?
Tax cuts."
If it had been made by water,
if you cancelled this one, it wouldn't have mattered because no one's seen it anyway. So,
look, it's disappointing.
It is
because I feel like there's probably a good Crow movie in there somewhere.
Yeah,
for another go at the Crow, like there probably is a good look at it somewhere in the mix, but. It seems to be that no one's able to clearly locate it just yet.
Four movies in a TV series now.
I never saw the TV series.
Neither have I. But
I've heard it's not good.
No.
All right, let's take a break. Here's the trailer for 1986's Avenging Force.
Began with a celebration, shattered by brutal violence, until Michael Dudikoff, star of American Ninja, became the Avenging Force.
I have been. I missed. Gentlemen, Captain Manhunter, one of the best agents my department ever had.
He's the only one who can oppose a deadly brotherhood.
They have a hunting club.
What?
A hunting club. Except they don't hunt animals. They hunt men.
Bring them down.
Now, in the ultimate form of pure savage combat, they are the hunters. And he target. In the final confrontation, the deadliest enemy meets the Avenging Force. Avenging Force. When getting even just isn't enough.
Avenging Force from 1986, directed by Sam Furstenberg, who directed Breaking 2, Electric Boogaloo. Produced by Yoram Globus and Menem Golan, who produced Life Force, and written by James Booth, who wrote American Ninja 2, The Confrontation. It stars Michael Dudikoff as Captain Matt Hunter, Steve James as Larry Richards, James Booth as Admiral Brown, and William Wallace as Wade Delaney. The budget was $4 million. The box office was $4.5 million worldwide. Michael Dudikoff stated that during the course of the 2 weeks he spent filming the closing Bayou confrontations, he ran through numerous spider webs, got an ear infection, contracted a skin virus, and had to endure too many cuts and bruises to count. This is also, I believe, a little bit of trivia. Extra trivia is it was supposed to be a sequel to Invasion USA, but Chuck thumbed his nose at this.
Yeah, okay.
We're going to have some things to say. Chuck's going to get mentioned here because I'm going to have some things to say about Chuck and Dudikoff.
I'm sure they're very kind.
Yeah.
They're kind to Chuck.
I love Chuck. I love the bloke. Come on.
Like a brother.
Yeah, well, not quite. More like a distant cousin.
Like a distant cousin.
All right, what are your thoughts on this one?
I actually thought it was pretty good fun. It's goofy as hell, as you would imagine with Canon. The script there's portions of the script that are just pure nonsense. But it's kind of fun, puts together some decent little set pieces and scenes, and it gives you exactly what you wanted in that era. If you wanted to go to, if you went down to the video shop and hired this, you'd have been pretty happy with it. Dudikoff is passable. You can see why they ran with the guy and gave him an opportunity, because decent looking bloke, looks like he can handle the action stuff reasonably well. Steve James, always likeable presence in the small amount of roles that he actually got. I mean, the storyline is a little too... there's portions of the story that are a little too relevant to modern day, unfortunately.
Yes.
But, yeah, and it's got the whole, element of people being hunted, which ends up being a very small part of the movie, but always gets a little bit of mileage for me.
Yeah, look.
Especially when it's Van Damme or...
and Wilford Brimley's occasion. Like those sort of things work. So what would you give it out of 5?
I think I went a 3.
3?
Yeah.
Very solid.
It was just fun.
Very solid.
Goofy, but good fun.
Yeah. I would agree that it was silly, but quite fun, and there's some really palatable action scenes. One thing Cannon always did well, in my opinion, is they always seem to...
Be careful with your words here.
They knew nothing about plot and characters, but action seemed to be decent.
Seem to be able to wring some stuff out of that.
They always seem to hire directors who seem to be able to do that stuff, right? Even, looking back on Invasion USA and all those sort of films, the action stuff was all good. It's just the shit around it. When you're just like, what the fuck's all this? Dudikoff's solid, I agree with you. Always nice to see Steve James. It's unfortunately let down by some strange motivations for the pentangle, or whatever the fuck they were. Like, I never quite got on board. It seemed like they were looking for world domination, but also happy to hunt people and fucking bayou.
There was very much a sort of a clash between their grand ambitions and the smaller ambitions.
Yeah. guys, this is way too low fi. Yeah. But and the rest of the cast is fucking awful. I've seen some shit performances, but this is bad. Apart from Dudikoff and James, you've got problems. Okay,
True.
So I gave it 2.5. Mm-hmm. I said right down the middle. She was pretty solid. Okay, straight off the bat, Dudikoff, passable as an action hero.
Yep.
He's athletic. He looks pretty good, and while not a great actor, Jared, there's a bit of emotion in his face here and there.
Yeah.
Like you kind of see a little bit of something. Now, Chuck or Dudikoff? This is where it comes into it. Chuck was in Invasion USA. This is allegedly the same character I mean, they eventually ended up saying, well, it's different character, different movie.
Yep.
But it was supposed to be the same character. Would you prefer Chuck or Dudikoff?
Well, that's difficult because I thought Invasion USA was as palatable as Chuck gets. That was my favourite flavour of Chuck.
What is it, vanilla?
Invasion USA, yeah. It's mostly vanilla with a sprinkling of Oreos or something.
Yeah, I know. Chuck's not exactly, he hasn't got a ripple of salt and caramel going through him, I can say that much.
You don't get, because, Invasion USA required him to be stone-faced, to punch people and to say few words. So
he was palatable there.
But if you're asking me, like, do I think if I required a little bit of a performance, if I required someone to show me a realistic interaction with the child actor that was in the movie, Dudikoff in a canter.
In a canter. Dudikoff's kind of like, he's like a choc chip cookie dough. There's some shit in there. It's not great, but it's like occasionally I'll come across a lump of cookie dough and I'll get excited. Yeah. I would, I'm gonna get, hot take here. I would have preferred fucking Dudikoff do both of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, well, I can see him doing fine in the other one.
Yeah,
too,
yeah,
so.
yeah. I mean, the other one worked to Chuck's strengths.
Yes.
I'm not doubting that.
Yep.
Like, I can little bit of ripple in there.
There's still no ripple, but
I could see Dudikoff being equally as a better performer in that Invasion USA.
You could have asked him to have a chat with the female reporter in Invasion USA and work a scene there.
And not make it look like she fucking, I despise you. Go away.
Yeah. Dudikoff, I mean, he's one of those guys that you watch now and you think, yeah, he was placed probably right where he should have been.
Did he not get his flowers, Jared?
No, I think, so he's I look at him and I say, yeah, I think he was about where he should have been.
Okay, so he should never have gone up anywhere else. He should have this was him. B grade was where.
You make it sound like I'm being harsh on the bloke.
Well, no, I didn't say anything.
But I have a fondness for these sort of pictures, and if he's
would you say this was a tier that he should have stayed at, and he did
properly
basically?
rated, properly rated, I think, Dudikoff.
Yeah, Chuck overrated. I would have said because Chuck was pushing up into just below the top people.
Yeah.
He was regularly getting into theatres, and they were making money.
Yep.
So he was overrated.
Yeah. Well, you could imagine if Dudikoff had gotten a better movie somewhere on there that snuck in there, like Van Damme did with Bloodsport. It was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah. If American Ninja had done Bloodsport dollars, maybe Dudikoff would have had some chances that weren't.
Yes,
were higher up.
There's probably the argument that Van Damme did a lot to make Bloodsport pretty good. Dudikoff didn't have that skill set when he was doing this stuff. He was learning martial arts to do the roles at this point. But, you never know. Like, if he had got lucky, could have had a reasonably... But I think he probably would have tapered off back to here anyway.
Yeah. I mean, he started high with Bachelor Party.
Yeah, exactly.
So really, he was here.
He was here.
And then things began to slowly drop.
Settled in.
And then he decided to take a 10-year hiatus.
Yeah.
And that sort of ended it for him. Okay. The whole hunting for sport plot, even though it turns out to not really be the key thing that they're doing, that stuff always has a nice angle.
Yeah.
It always seems to work when you have that.
Yeah.
And I think it's because you're pitting like top-rated, human beings with great skills against a hunting party. That thing always is an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah. I think the issues with it here is they seem to have a motivation that probably would have worked for why they would want to hunt people and probably would have, put a few messages out about what you're actually going for here. But, that wasn't the Golem and Globus sort of style.
No. We need to add something extra. That seems to be what's happened.
So what they used it for was just a couple of decent punch-ons and things like that.
Yeah, and I think it worked pretty well in that regard.
Oh, and gave me a couple of unintentional laughs early on.
Yeah.
So.
We'll get to that. Some of their get-up while they're doing it's a bit weird.
Yep.
Okay. The sequence in the Mardi Gras, that's impressive because that's actually real. That's the real Mardi Gras from what we've worked out. and they've shot there.
I don't know whether Canon Pictures could have whipped together a crowd that big without
Fuck
doing
no.
it for real.
There is no way they would have
Yeah.
gotten that many people together. Because initially I was looking at it and thinking, Jesus Christ, they've managed to get some extras.
Yeah, yeah.
But then read a little bit more into it, and it turns out to have been the actual Mardi Gras that year. And so they shoot it quite a bit in there, and they do it pretty well.
Yeah.
And it actually gives the film a little bit of legitimacy and a little bit of a sheen.
Well, it takes looking at something like that, you immediately kind of get the sense, oh, well, this looks like it's a bit of cash spent here. But then it also kind of, once the guns start blazing and things like that, it kind of gets a bit silly, but in a very entertaining way.
And some of that action sequence works out okay.
Yeah. Well, when, people start. A bloke on a tractor gets shot, and then a police on horseback gets knocked off his horse, and then Dudikoff's climbing buildings, and
it's all happening, and it's all kind of silly, but
it's exactly what you watch this movie for, right?
Correct.
Especially Dudikoff shooting a bloke off a bike, which got a magnificent reaction from me when
he basically fucking head plants.
It was like the wheel just stalled on him and he fucking flipped over the bike. Brilliant. Great stuff.
Why do I laugh about people's pain? Because that guy would have been in pain.
I know. But
no doubt about it.
How can you not laugh at that?
No, that's true.
And then it leads to that chase on the rooftop, which is shot pretty well.
Yeah. Reasonably well done.
Yeah.
Again, all legit. Looks like it's all done on the actual buildings up there.
Yeah.
There's a bit of effort gone into it.
Yep.
Which I appreciate when you're using $4 million. Although $4 million back in 86 was probably not too bad. Would that be fair? I think.
Yeah, it's still not massive, but
it's not bad.
Yeah, they've stretched it a little.
They have, and that's the thing. I think you might have to give Sam Furstenberg a little bit of a rap here. Is he seems to have gotten the best he possibly can out of the money that he has, which is fucking hard in these sorts of movies.
Can be, yeah.
Because it would have been fast paced. It would have been quick shoot. Like, he wouldn't have been given a lot of time to go back and fix things.
What are you saying? The Go-Go Boys?
The Go-Go Boys would have been busting his ass because, you know what, he'd have been fucking on the slate for another movie coming up too.
Yeah, but they would have also said, Sam, you know how we were back here tomorrow? No, we're not anymore.
Yeah, we're not anymore. You remember how I had told you had $8 million? Nah, it's 4.
It's 4. So yeah, get that sorted today.
Yeah, quickly, mate, quickly. Now, this was an interesting bit, and you talked about this very briefly at the start when you were talking about what you thought of the film, but the monologue given by the villain to his cronies, I guess, that were sitting around, it actually resonates very highly with a recent presidential candidate.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting to hear what he's sort of saying, and it kind of gives the villains a sort of a mantra and a goal. This is what we're about.
Yeah.
And I think it wraps it in pretty nicely, the way that's all sort of said.
Well, whipping it up as a political party that has these very sort of hardline stances, that made sense for what was going on in the movie. Some of the other things they were doing, not so much, but
there's some questions on that, and it's probably that guy's best part of his performance.
By a mile, because the rest of his performance is
shit. I can't say it in any other way, I don't think, Jared, but it wasn't good. Okay.
I think it's like, as we said, it's a little too relevant for the current political climate, but in a purposely fucking over-the-top slice of 80s action junk. So.
Yeah, exactly. This is action junk, correct? It is action junk.
But it adds watching it now.
It adds a bit more heft to their plans than some of the other action junk.
Yes.
E.g. Invasion USA. We want to invade the USA with like 10 trucks. That shit.
They nearly got there.
I know. I never quite flew though.
With 10 trucks of sort of screaming yobos.
yeah, that's right. But I actually thought I was quite taken by that. I think they did pretty well with that.
Yep.
The car chase involving Dudikoff and James, and where they sort of walk themselves into the trap that the pentangle's going to grab them and then turn it around on them and lay their own trap, kind of drag them into this old abandoned ship and then kill them all.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, it
I
was
think
pretty
all of
solid.
that worked well. And I liked the way they kind of stalked them. They did it nicely. It felt legitimate that they were both skilled, people that these guys should be fucking worried about.
Yeah.
I liked all that.
And again, the way that they shot it on these, like there's ones where they're on, it's like a fucking helicopter platform and stuff like that, right? Like it just adds just a touch of danger to it. Like,
yep.
It's, I thought it was reasonably well handled as well.
And it gives it, again, shooting on location, the feeling of money. Like we are actually shooting on location. We're not shooting on fucking in sets and stuff like that.
Okay, I mean, it fucking looked abandoned, but hey, well, it'll pass.
Hey, nobody needs to know we were there.
Exactly.
Shit.
Well, permits, what are you talking about? The fucking thing was condemned. I just cut the gate open.
Yeah, exactly. The gate was already open. Fuck, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So I liked all that. I thought that was really good.
Yep.
Now, this to me was the best sequence of the film. I was initially going to say that the punch up we saw before on the abandoned ship and everything was the best, but the one at the farmhouse, it was intense. It was tense, and there was some excitement there and some really cool stunts.
Well, fuck, we escalate, don't we? We fucking kill everyone.
Yeah, we shoot a fucking rocket launcher through the window that lands, and there's 4 guys playing cards, and it's fucking good night. Fucking blow them up.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. What a game of fucking blackjack to be involved in.
Yeah. I mean, all I needed was whoever fired the rocket to whip out a full house point.
Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been cool. But they blow the place up. There's a fucking sequence involving crossbow bolt through the throat.
Yeah.
One of the guys. And then there's a really cool stunt where Dudikoff's running up the stairs and the stairs just fucking drop out from beneath him and he dives and grabs the edge of the...
Yes.
Where it is. Really cool. Like it looked awesome.
Cool.
Because it was all happening. Like it was actually a stunt happening real time sort of thing.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
Correct. Yeah, I thought that was good too. Like, again, they just go over the top.
Yeah.
Just classic canon. Oh, well, fuck, we'll kill these characters. We'll kill probably more than we need to. We'll kill children. Like, they go...
I don't
go
think
bonkers.
we needed to fucking kill children, did we? I thought that was probably going a bit far.
But they did it multiple times.
The problem with that, I'll get to it later, but it had no weight. Like, that was part of the problem.
I guess that's the issue when you go with this, go the way that they do. And I've got a bit of a problem with it too, which I'll kind of mention later on. But, it was, again, an exciting sequence that does look like a bit of time and effort was spent on there.
And we kind of go from action scene to action scene to action scene to action scene.
Well,
there's really not a lot in between.
That's all we want.
But
that's what I'm here for.
But I think that's because that works for Canon. That plays to their strength.
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
It's set pieces that probably work best for them. And then, so the next stuff is...
nothing on the written page is...
No.
really working
No.
for the matter.
So my next two were basically the fights down in the Louisiana swamp. He has a fight with a ninja guy. People are wondering what the fuck I'm talking about. Yeah, I hurt myself back there.
Yeah.
Which is a really nice punch-up that ends nicely with the guy getting impaled on a fucking branch in the water.
Yep.
And again, that seems to be shot for real down in the fucking... the bog.
Well, it's a bog somewhere.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not a fucking flooded...
If you're getting skin infections, it's a fair chance.
Yeah, it's real. Fucking hell.
God.
And he's getting tossed around all over the place. He's fucking thrown everywhere. And I like the fact that he takes a bit of a beating, you know.
Yeah.
And so that fight goes really, really well. And then that's followed by the Lord Humongous dude, the guy who looks like Lord Humongous from fucking Mad Max.
And when he takes his mask off, he looks like a bloody jobber for WWE or something like that.
Yeah, he's coming into the ring to get fucking squeeze a squash match against someone. That one's also a nicely choreographed piece of work too, and pays off nicely at the end too.
Yep.
So once again, I feel like they played to their strengths. They knew that the action set pieces were working. Let's just keep punching them through.
Yeah.
Forget about what the plot's all about.
Plot? What are you talking about?
Because it becomes convoluted.
Pentangle? Who's that?
Pentangle. Fucking hell, what a stupid name.
Well, there was 5 of them, Adam.
I know. I know, but fuck.
5 points to the pentangle.
Come on. And my last was old mate pulls out a mace.
Yeah, you were loving
and
that.
I was like, fucking hell, we are gladiators.
How good's this? A mace. I
always
love a mace. I think you said multiple times. I love a mace.
I've always wanted to swing a mace around.
I was looking to establish at what point you discovered your love of a mace.
I don't know.
Handled one
I don't know. I never handled one. I'd love to. Like, fuck. It's not really a useful weapon, though. It's a close combat weapon, Jared. Like, you got to be in close combat.
It's one of those things where you're just flailing it around, and if you happen to miss and cop a kick in the face, she's good night.
Yeah, exactly. And look, but if you happen to connect, that spike ball is really fucking doing the damage.
Exactly.
So, I don't know why, but I seemed fucking pretty excited.
You were very excited.
Yeah,
I've never seen a bloke. I've never seen a bloke
I might
more
need to go and
excited.
see someone about why I have an interest in mace work.
Never seen a bloke more excited over choice of weapon in this shit movie. You'd have slice of action junk at him.
Yeah, I need to seek help.
So,
Jesus Christ, I got to stop talking.
Yeah, your eyes just lit up.
I know. I
love it,
haven't been that excited in years. Shit.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else from you?
No.
That was it. All right. Into the dislikes. The acting's a fucking disaster. other than Dudikoff, who I've got a slight problem with. I'll come to it in a second.
Yeah.
He's got one little irritating
There's one
piece.
tick.
He's got a tick that I don't like. And Steve James is okay.
Steve James is decent.
Yeah. You know what you're getting from Steve James.
Grandad?
Right? Granddad's fucking awful.
His sister?
Yeah, his sister. I mean, I feel for the poor girl. It's obviously her first movie and last. It's her only movie. But she reads, her lines are like they're being read.
Yeah.
Which is bad. But I also don't know about Grandpa. Was he much of an actor? That's a fucking that is a fucking oxymoron. He was not. But he's really bad. And then the villain is fucking terrible. His overwrought sort of shit is just
too much.
Way too much.
And I was looking at him going, I've seen this guy. I've seen it somewhere. And then I realised he was the villain in Runaway Train as well.
Yeah.
Who I thought he was pretty good. But when we saw his first couple of lines,
yeah,
I was like,
fellas, fucking hell,
what's going on here?
Bring it down. Sam should have been saying, "Hang on, whoa."
But yeah, then we get the speech,
and the speech was better.
He brings it back a touch, and I'm thinking, okay, we're back on solid footing here, and
we toppled again.
Fucking
guy fell over,
hit the skids again after that. What about the rest of the pentangle?
Not good. No. None of them distinguish themselves. Because you got 5 points to the pen. Fuck me. You got 5 points to the pentangle.
That's why it's a clever name. Don't you get it?
Oh, yeah, I get it. 5 points, and then none of them are. They're all fucking. I didn't really know any of them. They didn't. Yeah. They don't distinguish themselves other than what they wear on the hunt.
There was a part where I felt like old mate with the bald head and the mustache was just like an enforcer, and we didn't need to hear much from him.
Yeah.
But then there were a couple of the other characters.
Well, one of them was a senator. Yeah. A young senator. Yeah. So that could have been interesting, though, Jared, because we never really got much out of him.
He should have been running the show, shouldn't he? But anyway,
he was a puppet. He was being puppet mastered by the other guy. Fuck.
But yeah, there was the rest of the dynamic. There wasn't really much.
No. And we didn't see them a lot outside of the hunt.
There's the one that talks a lot, and then the other 3 just kind of mill around and fucking slap backs and shit like that. Like, I don't know. That's where it sort of ended up.
And we didn't see much of them outside of the hunt.
No.
They weren't doing much. Apart from the speech he gives.
They were sparring in the middle of some sort of political
what was that?
Presentation.
I mean, if you're trying to get donations out of me, that's not getting to me, dude.
No. Well, it's also like, it kind of made me laugh because we got a bunch of sort of young to middle-aged white blokes in the swamps of Louisiana who somehow developed like a martial arts expertise.
Yeah, there's no really information about that.
There's no kind of explanation how that happened, but it was kind of, they hated foreigners, but they loved their culture or a portion of their culture or something. Like, it was really weird.
It was very weird. And now, sorry, just to circle back to Mr. Dudikoff, personable, better actor than Shark, gives me some emotion, happy to take a bit of a kick in the ass, you know, happy to get beaten.
Yep.
His one tick was they constantly used to flash to him and he'd be given like blue steel.
Yeah, and there was a couple where it felt like you could have left that shot totally out and we've got it.
I mean, sometimes it was after he'd murdered someone.
A bit of blue steel straight at the camera.
It's kind of like sex eyes. It's like, dude, you just killed somebody. Like, let's put that. Let's fucking stop smouldering over here. So that was, and that may not necessarily have been Dudikoff's fault. That's more of a, we're shooting some shit where he's giving us the eye.
Giving us the eyes.
And then we're editing it into the fucking shots when we probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
We could have taken them out.
Probably.
All right. I said the pentangle, ridiculous name.
Every time they mentioned it, I kind of chuckled.
I chuckled, yeah.
Yeah.
It just sounded silly.
Pentangle.
Right. I mean, call yourself, I don't know, call yourself fucking Black Ops or something. I don't know. Something like that. Because that's more what they were supposedly about.
Yep.
This is where I got it. They kind of talked about big business. At one point, they had people in big business, secreted into big business, who were bringing it down.
Yep.
But yet hunting for sport was like their kind of thing. And
they never kind of threw it out like, oh, people pay us to do this. It was just the four of them for their sport, or the four members of the pentangle that we knew of.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, the fifth one, I couldn't figure out who that was.
No, jeez. Fucking hell, he was not. I jumped on the pentangle killed Dudikoff's parents, and that was fucking way off.
I thought you might have been onto something there.
I felt I was.
But I think it just didn't make a lot of sense. It's like, okay, well, we've got our big business and what looks like a little political sort of gathering and get together, but we're just going to sneak away, the four of us, to hunt somebody.
Yeah, that didn't make sense.
That's what I mean, like the grand ambition and the small scale kind of.
Yeah, it didn't
what
work.
You blokes are doing to.
It felt like it should have been more like Hard Target.
Yeah.
That people are paying us.
Yeah, you bring in all people in the pentangle, or you're wanting this pentangle setup to be you guys running it, but you've got the feelers out everywhere.
Yeah. It's
the other people that you're bringing in too, isn't it? Not just you guys.
Yes. I would have thought that would have worked better.
Yeah, but anyway.
But also, I mean, I guess when after a hard day of fucking destroying big business from the inside, you need hobbies. And hunting people for sport seemed to be that.
Especially when it's like CIA, was it? The
first guy was CIA,
Secret Service,
and then Dudikoff was Secret Service.
Yeah, yeah.
Or was he CIA? I can't fucking remember.
I don't know. But as I said to you, I was waiting for the scene where one of the people that was getting killed was just like, "Oh, I just work in the office. Fucking leave me alone.
I'm 8 to 4.
I've never punched anybody.
I'm in the IT department. Fuck."
Yeah.
And they weren't really, and I know that we were.
Because because really you only see the first two.
Yes.
And then it's pretty much on the back burner until Dudikoff is in the mix. So the first two, but they were IT, weren't they?
Yeah, I think so.
they didn't fare very well.
I think so. One of the issues with it was it didn't like Hard Target, and I hate to bring this back because they're not necessarily the same, but they have a similar plot line.
Yeah.
With the hunting for sport angle.
Done better in Hard Target.
Definitely, definitely done better in Hard Target.
Yep.
Because Hard Target's simple.
Correct.
It was this crew people have been paying into doing this,
and gets the balance of Cajun just right. What'd you feel?
Well,
a tolerable level of Cajun.
Well, the coffee was tolerable, I believe. I don't think the Cajun was tolerable because Wilfred Brimley is fucking far from Cajun. Hire a Cajun actor. What fucking hell? Like, Hollywood, stop.
Hire Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
I'm about to make a name for myself.
No, I've heard don't hire Channing Tatum on that front. But the thing about Hard Target is they were hunting high skilled military people, or like Vietnam vets, fucking Navy SEALs, shit like that. People who could make it hard for them.
Yeah.
And that's what Van Damme was supposed to be, correct? Yeah. He was Foreign Legion. Yeah, I know, I bought it. I bought every minute of it. Don't actually worry.
I bought it wholesale.
Hey, look, you know what? If it came up today, I'd buy it again. But this didn't have that. Like, you're killing IT workers.
Yeah.
Well, so it seemed. Like, they didn't seem like they were highly...
No, there was no presentation early on from those other two blokes that this was a challenge of some sort for them.
Yeah, I didn't really get that.
No.
So it didn't create stakes for both parties.
Not really.
Okay. When we first see them, like they're hunting these guys in the swamp, I mean, it's fucking hot in Louisiana.
Oh, of course.
Why are you wearing a fucking mask?
I've been there recently, and
yeah, I know. You flew over there, I believe, to watch a couple of movies and fucked off.
Yeah, no, it's pretty hot over there.
Why are you wearing a mask?
Yeah,
and a full fucking ninja suit.
Yeah. It doesn't.
Head to toe. It's fucking not.
It doesn't speak well to you. It doesn't speak well to your that you've got people in high places if your mask comes from the funny shop.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of...
I know.
It looks pretty bad.
Terrible. And then old mate, Lord Humongous, I mean, that mask is definitely out of a sex shop. Like, no doubt. No doubt out of a sex shop.
Yeah.
Like, and you could see, the boys come in, okay, have you got your costumes? And old mate pulls this out. And the boss goes, what the fuck?
The boys begin to titter. And,
yeah. Where'd you get that from?
Yeah. It just arrived in the mail from Fantasy Lane.
Yeah, exactly. Jesus. Also, it's 3-pack of DVDs.
Yeah, the mask was free.
Yeah, it's the fucking DVDs. Oh, shit.
Yeah, and then what's his name? John P. Ryan, the guy that plays Glastonbury, the one that's talk about overacting.
Yeah.
He's wearing some kind of...
It looks like
a dragon, sort of.
Yeah, it looks like something that you would have seen at a hoity-toity kind of fancy dress ball.
Like in Eyes Wide Shut, kind of.
Oh yeah, like at an orgy.
So essentially, every one of these blokes has just come from a swingers party to join the hunt, have
they? Yeah. So he's smoking a fucking pipe.
Well, isn't that what you do after you just kind of just get involved in?
Well, yeah. Okay, so he's just left the swingers party. Fucking he's coming down. And he's got to kill this guy. Fucking hell.
But the other funny thing is he's sitting in a tree.
Yeah.
While he's doing that.
But also, there's a fucking blue where one of the guys charges out of the bushes at him. At one of the IT guys.
Yes.
And he just jumps over the top of him.
They're blissfully unaware and could be cleaned up with a well-placed tackle, but he just launches over the top of him and goes, ah!
Fucking ridiculous.
That didn't old mate Glastonbury also start giving it a bit of woo and kind of whistling and shit?
Yeah. He's screaming out when he kills the bloke. He's screaming out and then he starts, wolf whistling and stuff. Again.
Not my favourite.
All this stuff, though, would have made more sense if that was what they were doing 24/7 and they were living in a farmhouse or something, contemplating blowing up some fucking thing because of their ideology. Yeah. That would have worked better.
Possibly. Although I didn't so much mind the fact that they were up in the fucking
halls of power.
In the halls of power, but it just didn't kind of work that it was just them then going to do that on the, I don't know.
I mean, I feel like everybody wants in on that on a Friday night. Where are we going tonight? Oh, we're going to go down to the bayou to hunt some people.
I've heard you blokes have a hunt. You reckon I could fucking join in? Yeah.
If you got yourself a mask, you can get in it.
Yep.
Okay. When the little boy is shot, Jared,
Yes.
Steve James does not look upset.
Look like a Chuck Norris level
Kind
of upset.
of. His level of upset, which is not.
Seething, a little bit of a seethe.
I'm internally berserk. I'm fucking fired up. But then the Ambos add to it with some real, there's no sort of drive behind them. They're like, no, he's not breathing.
Yeah, they're also saying this right next to the mother and father. They're like, no pulse, not breathing.
Yeah, then the other guy just goes, no.
He's dead.
What the fuck?
Come on, fellas.
Bedside manner, guys. Shit.
Bit of tact.
It's a small boy. He's dead.
Just say, we'll put him in here and we'll give it a go. And then when you shut the door, it's like, oh, fuck.
Don't do anything. He's gone. He's
up
gone.
the creek here.
Yeah, and so that's why part of the stuff involving the children and James's kind of, his want for revenge and that doesn't really land because there's no real, the death of his son is fucking just forgotten almost, just brushed aside.
Yep.
And then they try to do the same thing with Dudikoff, but his sister's not in it enough to kind of build any of that, I think, either.
But also, so my issue around that is, as you said, you kind of lose the impact of the first kid getting killed when you just then go and wipe out the rest of the family. But Dudikoff doesn't really have his own story. It's kind of their story, and he's just a friend.
He's attached to it.
He's kind of like the friend that's just sort of takes the lead in the action scenes. And then when it's time to be the Avenging Force, it's like, well, they're all dead, so now all he's got left to do is kick some ass and go and save his sister. But it's sort of like we're all sort of muddled. We didn't really have...
And no disrespect to Dudikoff, Jared, but this almost feels like Steve James's movie.
But there was parts of it where it's like, well, yeah, shouldn't he have been the...
Avenging Force.
He was almost like Mike Hagar, was he? He's kind of like the politician who's going to rip his shirt off and beat your head in if he needs to.
Yeah, basically, Hagar. Fucking hell, yeah. Yeah, basically, you could have not had Dudikoff and it made it a Steve James character's film, and that probably would have worked out equally as much.
In terms of the story,
and that's no disrespect to Dudikoff because I was happy to have him there.
I'm happy to have him there, and I think Steve James was pretty good too.
Dudikoff's the kind of guy who turns up to a party. He's got a 12-pack of fucking, Krakens. I'm happy to have him there.
Happy to have him. Yeah.
You can come in
if you give me one of those. Yeah,
I'll take a couple of those. Yeah. Whereas the fucking villain's the kind of guy who turns up with Carlton Cold or something. You're like, dude.
Or he doesn't turn up with anything, and then he says,
head off.
Krakens. I want one of those.
That's like digging through your fucking esky, the prick.
Get out of here. I think it was a little mixed up as to how we're motivating people and how we're,
Yes. And that's the canon.
The canon way to not know what you're doing. Is that it?
It's the canon.
No idea what sort of story.
That's the promise of canon. I don't care about the plot. B, I don't care about the characters.
Yep.
The Mardi Gras scene. There's a point where the villains are all sitting around and they're finding out about Dudikoff and who he is and what his skills are. They're running through a slideshow of pictures from the Mardi Gras incident. Who took the pics?
Pentangle's got fingers in everything.
Did they send a production team with them?
They sent a photographer somewhere. No, it was a classic one where some of it looked like fucking almost like still frames from the movie.
Yeah, they were. I can guarantee it. They're fucking they're production stills.
Yeah, at least make it look like it was taken by somebody standing there, like not actually a film crew that was fucking shooting a movie.
Yeah. Or have grainy kind of footage of someone else holding a camera or whatever during the sequences are happening from the side or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
we've got to photograph our exploits when we go and shoot up parades.
Yeah.
It's like how you got a photographer in the basketball in the front row.
No one should know about this, but let's make sure we send the photographer with them.
Oh, man.
It's fucked.
Yeah.
This bit got plenty of laughs when they fucking crossbow bolt Dudikoff in the leg on top of the farmhouse and he falls and they're fucking it's either a stuntman or it's Dudikoff himself.
Good stunt.
He gets fucking poleaxed into the ground.
Yeah.
And then a doll, clearly
it's a
doll
dummy for sure.
Of the little girl falls as well.
Boy. It's a
little boy. Yes, that's right. It's James's son, right?
Yes, who appears to have died from the fall. I don't know.
Yeah.
But then the funniest part was, we can see for all money it's a dummy, but then they put the voice over the top of him going, yeah, as he kind of gets.
And he fucking does it. He does it's 4 cartwheels in midair.
He does a cartwheel, and then Dudikoff's character lands on him. Fucking kind of drives the shoulder in, from what I can recall, which was
and what you see is
funny.
It's fucking clearly fake legs going
that's flailing around. Yeah, it was great stuff.
Come on, Cannon, better than that. You got to be better than that.
If it's gonna look like that, fucking shoot it from far away,
or don't do it.
Or say put Dudikoff in front of the fucking dummy. Don't have the dummy falling in front of him.
He puts the child down, gets crossbow bolted, and falls off the roof himself. Like it would have been
because the stunt looks cool. If it was just him,
the actual stunt, cool. Either stuntman or Dudikoff himself
does a bit of rolling,
falls fucking quite heavily.
Yeah.
So that was rather amusing.
Our other little bit of trivia that was very interesting was around there too. Was that it was Kane Hodder not long before that?
Yes. Fire stunt. His first fire stunt since he'd been badly injured.
Yep. Fire stunt.
I think he's the guy out when the explosion happens and everything flies out. That he's the dude.
Looks like it's the one
wandering off the porch on fire, as you do.
Which you loved.
I loved it.
It would have been better if he was swinging a mace.
He'd be going on fire, swinging a mace, fucking on horseback. Like, oh man, like I would have been like, this movie's awesome.
This is the best.
This is the best movie ever. The whole sequence in the Cajun township. Now, look, I'd had a couple of beers, so maybe I sort of missed the connection there, the connecting piece.
Yeah.
The 1 minute we're talking to bloody old mate in the CIA, fucking, what's he next thing you know, we're in a Cajun township and the pentangle hangs out there.
Yeah, pentangle's fucking, they've obviously got a heavy Cajun connection and influence. And
again, this comes back to, it makes more sense to go that way. They're hunting for sport in their own fucking backyard.
Yeah.
Like,
But it didn't make sense when it popped up on screen.
No, it didn't make sense.
Why are we having a hoedown at Cajun Town?
Yeah.
What's going on? And then, the pentangles.
They're also not Cajuns, so how'd they get in with them? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know. I'm still working it out.
Yeah, I'm still trying to work that out. So that was rubbish. The last one for me was there's multiple punch-ups at the end, all in the bayou.
Yep.
And they're all good, but they're too like. So you're just going through the motions. It felt a little bit like we needed to just...
It's just one to the next.
Yes, we needed something different for the next person.
Well, do the old, the raid or something.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, 2 of you have found me at once.
Yep.
And I've got to,
one in the raid, one story of the fucking thing has, people with guns. The next one's got fucking guys with machetes.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's take it up a notch,
bugging me. One of them's got a mace. I'm fucked.
Floor 3, dudes with maces.
Yeah.
That's where I go back downstairs.
Yeah.
Okay, right, fuck this.
Oh, guns are fine, but maces, I'm done.
It just felt too similar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I thought it took a little bit of the enjoyment out of that.
Just this one, the next one, the next. As you said, they're all decent fights and really cool in the swamp kind of setting, other than the rashes.
I wonder in which one he got the rash. That's the most interesting part for me.
But then, it's it just felt a little bit like, we're just lining them up and knocking them over.
Yeah. That was it for me.
Yeah.
Dislikes-wise. Did you have anything else?
No.
All right. Avenging Force. So now we've covered off on the Invasion USA pairing, really, because this is a sort of quasi-sequel.
Yeah.
You can find us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podomatic, anywhere else you get your podcasts. Send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. We're on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com, and Instagram at Thrill Me Podcast AU. Keep an eye on the Facebook page for our next episode, but until then, take it easy, and we'll catch everyone later. Cheers.
Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.